This movie wasn't playing on many screens in Hong Kong, but then I watched it and I found out why.
期待你能查出这个消失的凶手。
我要知道真相。
Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Shooter Grassinole, and this is my review of The Vanished Murderer. 2012's The Bullet Vanishes was a movie that I enjoyed, most of. My problem with that movie was that, like so many others, it laid out an intriguing and complex premise, and, like so many others, unfortunately just trotted out some neat, implausible excuse of a resolution. The bad guy gets caught, the good guys win, the film plays in China, yada yada yada. And bullets made of ice wouldn't work. Oops, the spoiler alert vanished. The Vanished Murderer, or The Murderer Vanishes, your title may vary, is an obvious sequel, not just in terms of cast and characters, but structure. Lau Ching Wan returns as Song, the detective, and
将以演
is still
复原。
the murderer. There's a new bad guy, and a new sidekick, and a new cop, but there is at least a new story, if not a new premise. Not that the story seems to matter that much in The Vanished Murderer. My biggest impression of the film is that the audience isn't supposed to focus on the narrative, which is good because trying to do so would give you a headache that could blind a pig. It's not that the plot is convoluted as much as it's alternately exploited and abandoned. If the plot was a human being, the director would be in jail for abuse. Instead of focusing on the story, we're apparently encouraged, expected, forced, to focus on the filmmaking, and by extension, the filmmaker. Needless to say, I think that we're supposed to find both of them scintillating and exhilarating and whatever other fatuous bullshit terms you want to use to rationalize this exercise in meretricious self-gratification that got away from me at the end. If a film repeatedly proves to you that the story and the characters and whatever narrative tension is currently happening will soon be rendered irrelevant or disappear from the movie without explanation almost randomly, only to reappear later or not, depending on whatever tangent the story is taking at the moment, at a certain point it becomes impossible for me to even care about the story or the people in it. Even at the end of the movie, when there's an imminent train collision, the film is unengaging because the trains missing each other is a big part of the trailer we've been watching for months. I understand whimsical, farcical movies. It's just a little odd to see a murder mystery with overt, red, ham-fisted political themes and more than a little death, violence, and cruelty played for whimsy and smug laughs. That makes me uncomfortable, and I'm me. A pratfall involving a literal horse's ass is soon followed by someone being shot to death. And in between, you get Lau Ching Wan as the Chinese horse whisperer. Lau Ching directed Viva Erotica and Inner Senses. He also directed Bug Me Not and Curse of the Deserted, so really, what's my point? The Vanished Murderer has the laziest homage I've ever seen. It's cinematic plagiarism that would make Quentin Tarantino blush. And there's obviously more than a little of Les Miserables recycled too, from what I've read. I didn't see the movie or the play, and I don't think that surprises you. This whole movie comes off as a Shanzai version of Koki Matani. There are lots of long pauses that are supposed to imply significance, I guess. A lot of the dialogue isn't just too dramatic, it's too theatrical. It belongs in a stage play. A lot of the dialogue and the blocking and the rest of the movie struck me as filmmaking of the look what I can do school. The Vanished Murderer has everything in it, but nothing is connected to anything else. It's like a film festival in a single movie. As I noted at the opening of this review, this film, starring one of Hong Kong's most popular and well-respected actors, is playing on a surprisingly small number of screens here. But after watching it, I'm actually not surprised. That said, I assume that if this film does well, they'll make a third one, but I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I didn't really care for this movie because I didn't like the way the story just became kind of superfluous, but maybe you would enjoy it. If so, go see it. Go watch it in a cinema because it is a blockbuster and they did spend a lot of money and it will look nice on a big screen with big loud speakers. But if you don't do that, wait until you can rent it or buy a disc. Don't steal it. When it does get released to home video, I'm going to update the description with a link where you could buy it. If you enjoyed my review, please tell me. If you didn't enjoy it, tell me. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. My favorite thing about this movie was Sun Kai-kwan as a tomboy. Now, what I can't figure out is why I find women who look like that so attractive, but metrosexuals like Wong Cholam just make me angry.